Hello ladies and gentlemen, this video will be about the two upcoming eclipses in March. The first one on the 14th of March and the second one, the first one is the lunar one and the second one is the solar eclipse, which is on the 29th of March. Now, as usual, I will address the eclipses from Babylonian perspective. I will explain to you which omens I found related especially to the first eclipse. Then, of course, I will describe how I see this influencing the world, and then how I see the eclipses influencing the 12 ascendants. So we'll be looking at the 12 ascendants. Before we look at the eclipses, I would like to make a small announcement to invite you to one of the webinars class, which I'm making on the 22nd of March. It is organized through the channel of Astrology, and I will place a link to this webinar, which will be the first link under this video. What is the main topic of the webinar? So we will be discussing for approximately, it always takes around 5 hours. You need to have basic knowledge of astrology through the perspective of the ancient Babylonian astrology. We will be looking at people's talents and professions in the horoscopes. This is very important and quite, I would say, valuable knowledge to have, because I will give you an example. What happens with horoscopes of children? Of course, when I say children, I have to tell you, we are allowed to look at horoscopes of children which reached 5 years of age. So children above 5 years. You ask me why 5? I will tell you I don't really know. Master Bein Sedunu is advising that we don't touch the horoscopes of children below 5. So, of course, I was curious enough to look at the horoscopes of my children when they were smaller, but I think it is not really a very good thing to do. But it is very good to do, to discover early the talents of your child. Example. For example, with my son, I didn't know, he didn't show any artistic talents really before, I think, age of 8. He didn't really. But it was in his horoscope. It was very strongly in his horoscope that he will be very artistic, especially in drawing, in wood carving, in glyptic, which is carving on gemstones, you know, like the ancients did. So he didn't show these qualities, but then I saw it in the horoscope. And when he reached, I think, 6, even before he really exhibits these qualities, I subscribed him to a class for artistic children, and we were amazed by the results. And I tell you, I didn't even know, because he didn't show any such qualities. So from this moment on, he's just amazing. He's carving on fine gemstones, he's drawing icons, he's carving on wood. He's just amazing. And this happens only when you have talent. It cannot be so that you go to such school and you learn. It happens only if you have it inside. So anyway, this is just an example of how useful it is to discover early the talents of the children. Really, really. So we'll be looking at this. We'll be looking at many professions, how you see them in the horoscope. Let's say until 30 you did something, and then later you are wondering what to do. What to do with your what new occupation to find. This is also very useful. So I don't want to get so much into this deep, but just to tell you, we'll be looking at different professions, how to find them in the horoscope with the knowledge of the ancient astrology, which includes, of course, some fixed stars, some specific degrees, and of course the main planets which describe certain talents and professions. We will involve the lunar nodes, how they discover how they describe the past, and so. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in such webinar, I think WADA announced early bird registration, which is really on very symbolic fee. So you can follow the link, and if you like, register to our webinar. So this is about the webinar. Now we will continue with the eclipse, the upcoming eclipses. We cannot divide them, ladies and gentlemen, in two. Two eclipses literally mean they belong to each other. They open like a portal for change. The first eclipse is happening on the 14th lunar day. It is taking place on the 29 degrees of Aquarius and Leo, because this is a full moon eclipse. Before I tell you specifically how I see this eclipse, I want to tell you something very important. Just recently, because I keep reading the astrology lectures of Master Bein Sudunu, because he was amazing, truly amazing astrologer, and he had also some students around him, which later on shared some of his knowledge too. So he mentioned about eclipses. He said it's a matter of wisdom what you do when there is an eclipse taking place. Example, he said you can do stupid as the chickens and the hen and the han will do, which will be, oh, the sun is eclipsed, the sun is darkened, let's hide in their house, and then later on they go out, and that's it. But during the eclipse, they just hide. So he makes this comparison, and he says, you even if the sun for you is darkened, you should never disconnect with God. You can easily, with wisdom, overcome the difficult moments, the difficulties which the eclipse is eventually meaning or even promising, when you never disconnect from God. Never disconnect from God. So this is the thing. It means what? Literally, to translate it in our, contemporary language, this would say, just don't give up to these darkening moods or emotions which can eventually have impact on you. Just connect with the Creator, pray, and absolutely do not allow any dark influences to destroy your positive mood. Indeed, eclipses are lessons for us. They certainly are not easy. They usually are not benevolent, because this is always a matter of darkening of the sun. The sun is the Christ energy. The sun will be darkened, and this is on the 29th. The first one is the lunar eclipse. But in any case, this is darkening of divinities. With very high divine energy. So in any case, this cannot be benevolent indeed. But I mention this every time. But I also want to mention that we should not give up to dark moods, dark energies. We should never disconnect from the Creator. This is the simple genius recipe. So this is one thing to tell you. Then further, I briefly mentioned about the first eclipse. The second I didn't really describe in my predictions, which I usually make for the 12 Ascendants. Now, this eclipse is happening on the 14th lunar day. It is happening in such watch, because as you know, the ancients would divide the day half of the zodiac, in three parts, which are day watch, in the middle, and then the last part of the day watch, and then they have division of the same way of the night watch. And when you have such eclipse happen in this particular watch, when this is happening for most of the world, it means, like I mentioned briefly in my previous video, decision for the king of the world. for the king of the world. And here comes the question, who is the king of the world? Some of you said could be the Pope, could be Donald Trump, could be Putin. Who is the king of the world? We have to think about it, but decision. If the moon makes eclipse in the month of Adar, which is now, we are in the month of Adar, because we're completing the year, it is the month of Adar, and after 13th of March, we're starting the new year, and I will make a very detailed video on this, and the new month already will be the first beginning of the year, it will be the month of Nisan. Why I emphasize and why I personally built, honestly, to tell you my life on these lunar months and not on the contemporary solar calendar, this is because this is the true connection with nature and with the consciousness. But I will make a separate video on this, and I will explain to you why, because there is some new insights that I have on the calendar, and this is so very important. So the eclipse will be happening in the month of Adar, and eventually a king will die, and this is about the king of Elam. Elam, most probably, of course, Elam covers contemporary Iran, but by the way, no, this is not Russia, this is contemporary Iran. We should not take this literally, because this might take a little bit broader lands. Elam also, this could be also, these lands there, Azerbaijan. So this is really big part of the world which Elam is covering. Also part of Turkey, by the way, also a big part of Turkey. So king will die, they say. Now let me tell you here something very important, because the ancients always give remedies, especially for this eclipse. They say, let the king write and let someone cut dikes in Babylonia at night as substitute for the king. Nobody must hear it. So they find, I tell you, this is so ancient to find substitute of the king, because in order to avoid the death or replacement or danger for the king, this exists since the world exists. I tell you, they did it in Babylon, they do it now. So if we say there is a danger for the king in this part of the world, I will tell you, they may find substitute, and we will not know about this, because they also know, and they apply ancient astrology to their, for eclipses, for influencing, manipulating people. They do not apply modern astrology. I have hundreds and hundreds of examples and proofs of that. So the eclipse, this is, and then of course, at the beginning, when you perform the observation, they say the city and the people will be well. So this is not a very drastic and eclipse for the people. At the beginning of the year, so this is Adar, finishing of the year, and then we have next month Nisan, there will be flood. And dikes will be broken. Now this is very possibly will happen, very possibly such thing to happen, flood. So this is the omen. Then later, this is about the first from the two eclipses. This is the full moon eclipse, and let me also tell you, the full moon eclipses are a little bit more influencing the destinies of people, because people, the nation, the collective, this is the moon. When we look at where this first eclipse will be seen, from which parts of the world, mainly very little, very partially the eclipse will be seen in Europe, mainly North America. This also matters. This will be important for America. The eclipse is happening in 29 degrees. This degree is not good very much, not really very good, critical degree, and the sun being in that time in Aquarius, is making exact conjunction with the invisible Saturn. Yes, this is something will happen as a result of this eclipse. An eclipse can have duration of more than 3 months from now on, even more. In the middle watch, the eclipse will be even having longer influence, but the minimum influence is of 3 months. And this is danger for the king. Big king. Who is this? Somebody who will see. And this is not happening right away. This is happening after the eclipse takes place. No benevolent planet watches to reverse the evil. Normally, when Venus is participating in the eclipse, when Jupiter is participating in the eclipse, they can destroy the evil. Now, nobody participates in this eclipse, I tell you. We have Mars making a sextile to the moon. Venus is not participating. Jupiter participates, but not really, the aspect is not really so influential on behalf of Jupiter. So I don't see really benevolent planet participating. Also, at the day of the eclipse, Mercury is in his evening last. He disappears. Something related to Mercury is always about speech, communication. Being with Venus, he's good, benevolent. This is something how to tell you, like it is related to speech. Something will disappear, will be hidden, in order something new to come out with his next reappearance. But Mercury becomes invisible at the very day of the eclipse. It is like closure of way of communicating, closure of media. You know, there will be changes in the media work. There will be changes. You will see that. Later we'll look, of course, at how this eclipse is influencing the 12th ascendant. But let's quickly look at the second one. The second one is part of the eclipses of 2024, as we had 4 eclipses on the axis of Pisces, Virgo, because we still have Rahu in Pisces and Ketu in Virgo. Last year 4 eclipses, so this will not be very, very new, but still let's look at this eclipse to see what both eclipses mean to us, and then we look at the 12 ascendants. I will not speak so much about this eclipse. It is happening on the 29th lunar day. Again, it is some trouble for the king. It is also happening as conjunction between, we have here Rahu, Venus, Neptune. Venus and Neptune are in a good conjunction, invisible Mercury, invisible Moon, and the Sun. So they all meet in Pisces. They share from the beginning of Pisces to the middle of Pisces, very spiritual degrees. You know, this is the first fish from the constellation. Also, this eclipse is happening in such a watch that it means this eclipse will have, means Sikh will recover. Anna, excuse me. No, this is a middle. So it means it has impact for 6 months and 20 days from the moment of its occurrence. Diminishing markets. So this eclipse is not good for the economy of the world. Pisces is a sign which is the collective. This is the bad karma of the world. This is the 12th house of the zodiac. This is about indeed the collective karma, the karma that we are paying. This is the about related to health. These are the refugees, like I told you previously. So this eclipse is not good for the collective, especially for the markets, for the collective really. So after this eclipse, for the next 6 months and more, we can expect troubles in the world economy as a result of this eclipse. Not only, this is a fact which is already building, but it will be like enhanced by the eclipse, and it will have duration of impact for like 6 months and 20 days. again, for some reason, this part of the world is also influenced. Iran, Azerbaijan, big part of Turkey. There, and also the parts where the eclipse is visible. Again, I think when I was looking which parts of the world will be covered by the second eclipse, I think it was again it is again, excuse me, I lost it, I'll tell you. So you see, it will cover Europe, North of Asia, Northwest Africa, much of North America, North and South in South America, Atlantic, Arctic. So big part of the world will be witnessing the eclipse. So it will be there influencing us for sure. So let's move now to the 12 ascendants. Like I told you, absolutely don't be so worried. Of course, avoid, try to not get into risky situations. Avoid, if you can, traveling, medical interventions during the eclipses. For sure, try just to be very balanced, connect with God. And I think you should. As usual, I will look from the perspective of sidereal astrology, and for people who prefer to look at from the perspective of the modern astrology, then I tell you both options as usual. So for people who have sidereal ascendant Aries or moon in Aries, this will correspond to tropical or modern astrology Taurus ascendant. How the two eclipses will influence you. First of all, the first eclipse is happening on the axis for you, 5th, 11th houses. This can have a little bit impact on your social circle, so you may need to be a bit more diplomatic with people. This eclipse may eventually open portals, change some friendships. Also be a little bit more attentive with children. This eclipse can open up later on some of your creativity even. The second eclipse is on your 12th house, so you may need to be a little bit more responsible for your health, but if you're very balanced, you maintain your connections with the Creator, you can even become you can get amazing spiritual insights, enhance your intuition, and so. Of course, during the eclipse, do not do, if possible, any medical interventions. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this will be Gemini. For you, the first eclipse is happening for you on the axis of your career and home. There you may need to be a bit careful for the next 6 months. You may experience some changes there. You may need to wait, and especially after the eclipses are over, make decisions and see which openings you will have, which areas of your professional life are closing, and so. The other eclipse is happening on your 11th house, which is, yes, be a little bit attentive with children, and certainly this eclipse shows that you may experience changes in your social circle and also with finances. So after the eclipses are over, wait 10 days and see what you will feel, see where the new energies will lead you. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini. For you, the eclipses, the first one is taking place on the axis of 9th, 3rd houses. You may experience changes in education, knowledge, spirituality, interests in philosophy, different philosophies, opening, closure to of certain education, let's say, or educational path for something new to open. With this eclipse in Pisces, you may experience some changes in your career, temporary blockage. Later on you will have opening, but wait 10 days after the eclipse and then see where the energies will lead you. Now let's see people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this will be Leo. Now for you, the first eclipse is taking place on the axis of your 8th, second houses. This eventually may have impact on finances of your partner, finances via partnership. There you may have experienced some changes. Of course, this may influence your partner, husband, partner, also partner in business, or money which you generate via partnership. You may have temporary blockage and later you experience change there. The second eclipse is on your 9th house, which means that if you maintain very high vibrations, you remain very spiritual, connected with the Creator. You may even have very good results in your spirituality, awakening, study, knowledge. But there you may experience changes, which changes probably already started taking place for you last year. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. For you, you have a very important axis influenced by the first eclipse. This is the axis of your ascendant descendant. This personally influences you, your decisions, partnership, husband, wife, entrepreneurship, business. This will be influenced. Your decisions will be influenced by the eclipse. Temporarily, you may experience blockage, but later on, you will be shown most probably another path, another opportunity. So this is not really so bad. Of course, the second eclipse is taking place for you on the axis of 8th house, actually 8th second house, and this may have impact on the finances from unexpected sources, finances of your partner. A little bit your fears and sleep may be influenced, so make sure that you remain very, very balanced, very spiritual, but you may experience changes there. Make sure that you remain very patient, very, forgiving with your partner, because this eclipse may test a little bit your relationship. Okay. For you, people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo, or moon in Virgo, or if you follow in tropical astrology, this will be Libra. For you, the first eclipse is taking place on the axis of 12th, 6th houses. This may influence some your routine, some administrative work that you do. Eventually, you may need to be a little bit more responsible for your health, especially after the first 10 days after the eclipse. Be a little bit cautious and see where things related to your routine and your job will lead you. Make sure that you remain in harmony with people who surround you, people in your routine environment. The second eclipse will test a little bit your romantic life, your relationship. There you may need to be, balanced, careful, forgiving. This may have impact on your business, entrepreneurship. This may cause changes which you will discover a little bit later. Now we see people who have sidereal ascendant Libra or moon in Libra. If you follow in modern tropical astrology, this is Scorpio. For you, the first eclipse is happening on the axis of 11th, 5th houses. This can actually open up some creativity, interest in creative knowledge. This may bring some changes in the way you make money for good, but after temporary blockage and later new opportunities can open up. Be responsible for your health a little bit more, and your routine may also shift a little bit and change the way you organize your day. Also your relationship with people who participate in your routine. There also you may need to remain a bit more, careful, diplomatic. Don't trust everyone. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Scorpio or moon in Scorpio. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Sagittarius. For you, the first eclipse is happening on the axis of your career, home. You may feel more driven to your home, let's say, but still this eclipse may open portal for change for this axis of career and home. This can involve changes in renovation, even relocation plans, property matters. All this can be, activated with this eclipse. Quite interestingly, the second eclipse is happening on your 5th house. Be a little bit more attentive with children. This eclipse can open portals for creativity, for interest in creative knowledge, pleasure, beauty. This actually can be even quite benevolent. The main emphasis of change to me is home and career for you, especially home situation, property, interest in owning property, interest in property matters and change of the status quo eventually. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Sagittarius or Moon in Sagittarius. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be a Capricorn. For you, the first axis of eclipse is influencing your 3rd, 9th houses. Be diplomatic with brothers and sisters there. You may have some activation, of some family matters. Also, this can change your interest in knowledge, education. Also, the 3rd house is related, to your courage. This can change your plans for media, for travel, for studies, communication. So wait a little bit and see which doors will open up later in this regard. The second eclipse for you is happening on the axis of the 4th house. This is emphasis on a home situation there. You may have some changes, and also make sure that you're loving, patient with mother, with parents. And of course, be a little bit more careful also in your career place. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant, Aquarius or Moon in Aquarius. One second. Some small... Capricorn, Sidereal Capricorn, or Moon in Capricorn, or for the modern tropical astrology, this is Aquarius. For you, the first eclipse is on the axis of second 8 houses. This may influence your financial status, interest in making money differently, your approach to money. You may have briefly blockage of the finances, which later on will open up to show you different ways eventually of making money. The second eclipse is on the 3rd house, which is about, a little bit careful with brothers and sisters. Can have changes in your interest in education, knowledge. This I mentioned already. And now people who have Sidereal Ascendant Aquarius or Moon in Aquarius, or if you follow in modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. For you, this first eclipse is taking place right on last degree of your ascendant and descendant. This may impact big changes in your personal choices, personal aims, personal purpose. Relationship may be tested. It will be big. Your choices will change and shift. Your interest in occupation, in creativity, in the things that you do, things that are about you personally, this may change. So wait after the eclipse is over, wait 10-15 days, and you will see how opportunities will show up, how some doors will close, and this will be very normal. Financially, you will experience change after the second eclipse, but this is already a fact since last year. So this eclipse is particularly important for you. So wait, specifically be very intuitive and wait and see how the energies, where the energies will lead you. And the last is Pisces, Sidereal Pisces or Moon in Pisces, or for the modern tropical astrology, this is Aries. The first eclipse for you is involving health, your routine. You may feel that you're a little bit more driven to be on your own, in self-isolation, to stay in the temple or your own temple at home. You may be more emphasizing on health or researching your occult secrets health. You may feel a little bit not very positive. Make sure that you do not lose your connection with God. The second eclipse is happening on your ascendant. Very powerful eclipse will influence your choices, your moods, your everything about you. So wait after 30 March, the eclipse is to be over, and then you'll be shown new path. Many things will change personally for you. Make sure also that you are patient with your partner in business, partner in life, because relationships can also be tested. So ladies and gentlemen, this was about the 2 upcoming eclipses. Make sure that you're absolutely not worried, not afraid, very brave, vibrate high, do your spiritual work, and do not lose your connection with the Creator. All the best. Bye bye.